Brian Salvatore is a candidate for the Louisiana State House of Representatives. He'll begin the race this fall against Alan Seabaugh, and he is in studio for a little bit. How you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
Very good. I'm happy to be here.
Bump into each other at Whole Foods every now and then. Help me with this. Brian Salvatore, candidate for House. Democrat, independent, Green Party candidate. Tell me, how would you describe yourself?
Well, throughout my life, I've been all over the place politically, but I've been basically the same person. My friends used to call me the Republican with a social conscience. Back around the turn of the century, I switched to an independent, and I've been a Democrat now for several years, and I'm running as a Democrat.
You're having a rally this evening at Maryland's, 6 till 9 on Fern Avenue. Guest speaker is
General Russell Honore.
Let's talk about the campaign. Your stances on some things. You are running for state representative. So let's start with Louisiana as a whole. In your mind, how is the state of Louisiana doing? Are we headed in the right direction? If so, why? In the wrong direction? If not, what's going wrong?
I think in a large respect, we're heading in the wrong direction. And that's what this rally is about, to present some new ideas. So we are missing opportunities left and right in education, in economic development, in taking care of our infrastructure. We should be attracting companies here. We have very low costs of doing business, but we just can't get past the fact that we cannot provide the workforce that companies need to even want to come here. So you can't give it away at this point.
So you describe yourself as a Democrat, and yet we have a Democrat governor in the state. What do you think about John Bell's stances on all? Do you think John Bell is doing a good job as governor?
In some respects, I do. I think we can do a lot better on economic development.
Now, that's interesting because one of the governor's stances traditionally has been for an increase in the minimum wage to $15 an hour. It was defeated in the last legislative session. If it comes back up again, how would Representative Salvatore vote?
Well, let me just correct you on one thing. I never heard anybody in Louisiana propose $15 an hour. A living wage has been defined by people outside the state for Louisiana around $11 an hour, and what was defeated was a $9 an hour minimum wage.
In a Brian Salvatore world, what would minimum wage be?
I would have voted yes on a $9 minimum wage. It's a shame when I see students of mine, and I see even people older than that, that are working for minimum wage or close to it, and then are having to take public assistance. And we're all subsidizing that public assistance. This is why our sales tax is so high. We don't have the real jobs here that use the skills that we need today.
So in your mind, an increased minimum wage would mean lower taxes?
I would like to see the sales tax go down. I would like to see some of the business taxes go down, especially on small business. There's no reason why, for example, a small company that's not a franchise should be paying a franchise tax.
The governor historically has also been for an increase in the gas tax. At one point, I think it was tossed around a couple of years ago as much as 40 cents a gallon. I think in the previous legislative session, it was 17 cents a gallon, and that did not get through. Back to the Brian Salvatore world. Do you think there should be an increased gas tax? What do you think it should be?
Well, gas prices go up and down all over the place. When gas prices fluctuate up 60 cents or down 60 cents, we bear with it. We get nothing for that increase. But what I look at is I see the condition of our roads. I see the Jimmy Davis Bridge at about a 37% sufficiency. And I say that we need to take care of our infrastructure. So if it required a gas tax to go up, and I've suggested to friends of mine that about 20 cents would be reasonable.
20 cents more, you mean?
Yeah,
okay.
20 cents per gallon. And the fluctuation on an annual basis is 3 times that. So why are we punishing ourselves with this decrepit infrastructure when we can be taking care of it? It's nothing more than ideology. It's not practical to not take care of our infrastructure.
You had mentioned, and this is certainly the hottest, the number one with a bullet topic around Shreveport in the area. You had mentioned jobs and the economy. Representative Salvatore, what are your ideas? What do you think you could do in Baton Rouge to help out Shreveport?
Well, education is my focus, and it's always been, and I see the difference that it can make. And when we have students graduating from our public schools that don't have the skills, some of them, I'm told by companies here, that can't even alphabetize files. We need to change how we're doing education. There's far too many tests in our public schools. The kids hate it. School has become absolutely boring and not motivating. I'm an advocate for project-based learning. I've started an after-school program. Some of the kids that come to the program, they tell us they can't wait to get out of school so they can come to the after-school program and work with these projects and ask questions and truly learn rather than spending the whole day doing test prep. And so that's the first step, is to fix our K through 12 schools. And then our universities, we've got a $2 billion deficit in deferred maintenance. This is something that is definitely making our schools unattractive, both to students and to faculty and to the ability to even do research.
Speaking of education and speaking of schools, I had noticed on your Facebook page a couple of days ago, and it was something that Erin and I had tossed around back and forth. And she, in all honesty, has not. One day she'd be for one side, one day she'd be for the other. And you've got a smile on your face. I think you know where I'm going. I'm talking about the $28 million football locker room renovation at LSU. You wrote, "The faculty I know in Louisiana high five one another when our offices get vacuumed every couple of years." What do you think about that $28 million renovation? And do you think monies in this case are misallocated?
Well, currently, the LSU system has a $1.5 billion capital campaign. They call it Fierce for the Future, assuming Tigers are fierce, right? Well, a lot of that money is going towards athletics. The system is telling the donors where to give. So it's true, this $28 million came from private donors, but it's being prioritized at the system level of where they're seeking the money, how the money is going to be spent. And I think it's a shame that we have our priorities in the wrong place. I'm not faulting the donors, but I think the donors need to be aware of where the money is most needed to move the state forward, not just the football team.
Brian Salvatore, I apologize. Brian Salvatore is a candidate for the State House of Representatives this fall. You have a rally, a campaign get-together tonight. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, this rally tonight is not associated with my campaign or anybody's, but it's an opportunity for people to turn out and hear a set of speakers on the progressive side. And by progressive, I mean we want progress. We want change. We want to make a difference. Okay, we're not left-wing radicals. Nothing I said today should sound left-wing. That's not who I am. So we have General Russell Honore coming as the keynote speaker, and he's going to talk about ideas as well. He's especially concerned about our cradle-to-prison pipeline in this area of the state. And he's also concerned about health care and the quality of life of people here and throughout the state. But North Louisiana is always getting left behind. We don't have the political clout because we don't have the population. That means we need to make more noise than we should have to. And that should start tonight. We should start to become informed. We should start to become grassroots fighters, just like we were at Camp Minden. And we solved that problem. It was completely solved. And I hope that the citizens become more engaged in the problems in the state and recognize that, yes, they can make a difference in solving these problems if they really care.